Ladies and gentlemen, Chikutamuyela. Once again, and as always, I am your host, Na Atabia II, Mamprugu Youth President. And I welcome you to tonight's edition of Voice of Mamprugu, One People, One Voice, authentic, authoritative, objective, and of course, educative. Our mission is very simple. We want to promote Mamprugu Kingdom across the world and unity with purpose among Mamprusis and all the paramountcies in Mamprugu, and also defend and protect the sanctity of the high office of the Nigeria. Our vision is also simple. We want to bring about consciousness among Mamprusis as each other's keepers towards attaining what? Social, economic, historical, educational, and political advancement. Tonight, we have our professor, our brother, professor in Mamprugu history and culture, Professor Badigamsida Inusa Abdul Majid. Prof. Prof, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Anula.
Nah, ini ya ula.
Alafia tuma ya ula.
Nah, ya na ya ula, tiba ya na ya ula.
Taram bubu na biara.
Oh, okay, gafara.
So, yeah, you can only ask if we taram bubuhra. That's what you just say.
Oh, taram bubohra.
Nah,
okay. All right, Prof.
Yeah.
I usually play some music, or
Yes.
the right word is a song. I usually play some song.
Yes.
Before the start of this program.
Yeah.
Is that what is that song about?
In fact, that song, that particular artist, well, I've forgotten the name. He's from Wali Wali. He did very well. He's giving us chronology of the past kings of the Mamprugu Kingdom, right from Nadewa up to our reigning Nayiri, Nabohago, and he always ends by saying Tukutamu Yala, Tukutamu Yala, Tukutamu Yala, Tukutamu Yala, Tukutamu Yala, Tukutamu Yala. We will never forget of this great king. In fact, we couldn't have had a better king at this particular moment than him. So we will really we can't forget about him. Yeah.
So in simple terms, that is history.
That is history, yes. History of past kings of the Mamprugu Kingdom.
All right, history of past kings of the Mamprugu Kingdom. Tonight, yes. Our topic is the Bongo traditional area,
yes.
And the Mamprusis. Now, let's also go to history of the past chiefs of the Boku traditional area. There's a reason why I want to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so dear viewers, this is the 12th Boku Naba Nawuni Buguri, also known as Nasa. He was in Skin in 1951, and he passed on in December 1956. Interestingly, 3 months to the birth of the country we now call Ghana. Now, Salma, the one I showed his photo yesterday, he succeeded Nasa, and of course, Natampuri also succeeded Salma. We'll talk about, I will show Natampuri's photo another time. Now, Prof, let me go to a slide, and I want us to just put something to rest. One one unknown third generation Kusasi, I don't know him, but somebody sent me a write-up that he made. More or less, it's like criticizing the Mamprosis and their history. But when I read it, I saw frustrations and anger and disdain towards history. I saw somebody who is in pain for not knowing himself, and so he's having problem with the Mamprosis. So and of course, to be fair to him, what he wrote is a mixture of nonsense and some little sense. So I sieve it and pick out what I think is sensible, but ignorant on his part, and I want us to educate him.
Okay.
All right. So So, for example, he started by saying that, and I'm quoting him here. Very laughable when you hear people who do not have clans talk about who got history and doesn't. So he's saying that the Mamprosis don't have clans.
Like, seriously?
I don't know, Prof. I don't know. I mean, I would have begged that you should allow your student to handle him, but since you are here, I can't take your job. But I would also want him to know that I have learned from a right professor. So I've bulleted 5 points. This is the first point. So what do you have to say about it? You said the Mamprosis don't have clans, but you talk about history.
Yeah. Well, if he says Mamprosis don't have clans, then who has them? It's obvious he has no idea, or he had no idea what he was talking about. Because I think we have said this times without number, and even anthropologists have chronicled it. Even their own sign admitted to it, and a lot of. So if he's now saying Mamprosis don't have clans, then maybe we have to ask him what is his definition of a clan.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for asking that. Let your student take from there. Before I make an attempt to explain or define what a clan is, and I'm gonna take a position, and Prof, correct me if I'm wrong. My position is that the Kusasis don't have clans as they have been talking about. I want us to demystify it. The Mamprosis rather have clans, and I will provide my evidence. In any case, so as you ask, what is clan? My basic research on the definition of clan is that a clan is a group of people united by actual or perceived kinship and descent. For me, the operative words here are a group of people united by perceived or actual kinship and descent. Two operative words, kinship and descent. It went on to say that even if lineage details are unknown, when you're talking about kinship and descent, it talks about lineage. Now, it says that even if your lineage is unknown, the details of your lineage is unknown, clans may claim descent from founding member or apical ancestor.
Yeah.
Then it went on to say that clans in indigenous societies tend to be endogamous, meaning that their members can marry one another. Now, so the Kusasis have been making this argument that they are the indigenes of Boku, and they were not organized. They didn't have a centralized system, but they have clans and their heads, right? Now, the definition of clan is you must have an apical ancestor or a founding member.
Yes.
So if you say that this is my clan,
Yes.
that clan must have a founding member.
Yes.
Good. So that is the general. Now, you mentioned the word anthropologist, and then who is an anthropologist? An anthropologist is somebody who studies what makes a human or human beings. So, I mean, they study about humans, culture, the society, and then the development of human beings. I am starting it on this note to bring in, I said the key words here are kinship and descent.
Yes.
So what is the definition? What definition, or how does anthropologists define kinship and descent? I don't know whether you want me to continue or you come in here.
Yeah, I would just like you to continue so that you can wrap up and say.
All right. So I mean, okay, I understand, but let me not go into the details. But let me say that per the definition, and if you go into even how anthropologists defines descent and kinship, you realize that the Kusasis fall foul of that. There's that deficit. One, the Kusasi have not been able to tell us what are the various clients, or what were the various clients that they've been talking about, and who are the founders of these clients. The Mamprusis have them. Now, the descent of the Mamprusis, I think you talked about it a few days ago.
Yes.
Let me show this photo for viewers to understand what we're talking about. And I think we just need to demystify this Kusasis claim, please. So on this diagram, the top one talks about kinship. And the kinship start with, let me say, my father and my mother, my siblings, my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, and my paternal grandparents, my great grandparents, and my great great grandparents. So that gives you the kinship. The descent talks about the founder, the apical ancestor. And for the Mamprusis, our ancestor has always been Tojie, Kunumbu, Bewa, Tosogo. And when you limit it to Boku, then we come to Ali Atabia. So the Mamprusis have a climb. Now the Kusasis have not been able to tell us all this, but they keep on saying that they have clans, and they were having clans. And you know what? I'm sick of this, Prof. I mean, I will not go further. Just summarize on this, then we'll go to today's program.
Yeah. I think if you're talking about clan system, even the Tandanes, as they claim to be, Tandanes also have founders. This particular Tandanaship clan was founded by this person. This is the ancestry. And maybe one of these days, we will go into Tandanaship and where Tandanes are concentrated in our part of the country. Talk of even Bolga, Bongo, Zwarungu, all these areas. The Tandanes the Tendana clans in these areas are known, and maybe in due time we will enter into them. So a Tendana doesn't also come from vacuum without a founder. Even a Tendana also has a founder. So as you said, there cannot be a people without a founder or without an ancestry. And you say clan, yes. Even when you come to clan system, even in Mampurugu, that is what we call as Anwari. That Mampurugu, the clan is what has been termed as Anwari. Is Anwari one. That means that is our clan. The other is the Anwari one. That is how it has been. The clan system has been in Mampurugu. Even among the same ancestry, you still have the Anwari, because definitely a king doesn't have one wife and doesn't have one child. So the children all will found their generations, and they will say to the Anwara Yala Yakaza. So it is that the Anwara you will follow and link to the main to the main founder. So for them to say Mampuso doesn't have clan, then it is just out of ignorance, if we can put it in that context. And probably that person doesn't deserve much of our time, because it's obvious no idea what he's saying.
Exactly. But you know, this is significant because let me create a link here. If you don't have clans, you cannot have history.
Exactly, yes.
So people who don't have history cannot claim that they have. I mean, they don't have history because they don't have clans. Anyway, Prof. Okay, we're talking about the Bongo traditional area. Take on, Prof. Take it over. Take it over. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Yes, sorry, I had a call that distracted my.
Okay. All right. So, Prof, we're talking about the Bongo traditional area today.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, I had a call that disrupted my network.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm saying we today we focusing on the Bongo traditional area.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, before I begin, as usual, I will have to formally welcome our cherished viewers and followers, and once again thank them for their time and always being with the voice of Mampugu, the authoritative and premier voice of the Mampugu kingdom. And I will, as usual, clap at the palace of the overlord, the king of the Mampugu kingdom, as well as all the paramounts in the kingdom. And I'll give a special clapping at the palace of our father, our grandfather, the Bonaba, Bonaba Salifu Andamiyaram, paramount chief of the Bongo traditional area. I'll give a special clapping at the palace of the Bonaba and the people of the Bongo traditional area. And to everyone, I say good evening.
Good evening, Prof. So, before you start, let me just show something on the screen so that we'll have a better start on this program. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Bongo traditional area is in the Upper East region of Ghana, and it is part of the Mampugu Kingdom. The map you see below is the Upper East region. At the other time, we discussed the Talensi people. When you look at the map, where you see the deep green is the Talensi traditional area. Now, right on top, next is the Nabdan traditional area, the light green. Then next on top of the northern traditional area in, I will say, pink, is Bongo. So that's the Bongo traditional area. The Nayiri inskins the chief of the Bongo traditional area. Why does the Nayiri inskin the chief of the Bongo traditional area? Prof, let me ask this simple question, but you can broaden, you can take it to broaden more on that. Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry for the interruption.
All right. Yes, please take over.
Okay, yeah. So we are talking about the Bongo traditional area and the people of Bongo. And as we've always said, history is sweet. And when you know your history, you will know where you came from, then you will appreciate where you are, then you will know where you are going. There can never be a people without a history or without a founder. It has never happened. Even the humankind on earth here will always be traced to, they will say our founder was Adam and Eve. So that is to tell you that the human creation on this earth, everyone has a source from which he or she came from. So if you cannot trace your founder, then you have a problem. And probably that is why some people don't want to hear about history. The Bongo traditional area, or the people of Bongo, if we are coming to look at why are they in the Mamprugu kingdom, who are they? As our father mostly say, who is their ancestor? So if we come to look at it from that context, then we'll get to realize that they being in the Mamprugu kingdom is not by chance, or it's not by mistake, or it's not because they are strangers, but they are part and parcel of the Mamprugu kingdom. The area that is now known as the Bongo traditional area as we know it today was founded by a Mamprusi prince. Who was this Mamprusi prince? He was the son of the legendary Na Atabia. A son of Na Atabia founded the Bongo traditional area and the people of Bongo, or the Bongo people. You know, Mamprusi by nature, we are warriors and we are hunters. So it was normal in those days, and as we've said in the Talensi area the other time, mostly every Mamprugu prince will always want to leave a legacy that his generation will benefit from. So this particular prince was a hunter, and in Mamprugu, when we say a hunter, it means a warrior, because before we have Kambonadema as we now have them today, the hunters were the warriors. So if we say a hunter, it means a warrior. So he went on a hunting expedition and got to that part of the kingdom. And mind you, that particular part of the country was already part of the kingdom, just that it wasn't concentrated by, and the royalty was not there. So what happens was that as we moved from Pusiga to Gambaga and subsequently to Naleru, that enclave was uninhabited, but it was inhabited by some ancestral group of people. So mostly some of the things are there. We don't want to be saying them, but that was how it was. Those people were there, and when they need slaves, they will raid into that area and get the slaves and go and sell. So no one was interested in staying in those areas. But this prince got to this area, and we are told that his first point of stop was at Zoko. So that was where he went, and there were some group of people living around the Bongo traditional area. They were the Busansis, or in plural, and Busanga singular, and those that we call the Bises. So they were those inhabiting that area, and the Nankana people. So the Nankana and the Bises, they were those living around that particular enclave. And it is said that there were always some kind of friction between the Busansis, the Bises, and the Nankana people. So this prince got there and saw these people living there. So he wanted to establish his chiefdom in that enclave. So he sent for warriors from his father, Atalia, and some battalions were sent to come and add to him. So they waged a war on the people living in that particular enclave, and they defeated them. How did they wage this war, or how was this war fought? We are told that it was in the night, exactly in the day of the fire festival. So they planned them in the night. They lit touches of fire and descended on them, and the people flee the area and moved upwards to the Burkina border and settled in some communities up there. And I would just like to give the names of the communities that are given as where they settled. One of them being Go, Namo, Balungu, Boko, Bongo, as we have it, Arabe, Gori, Yorgo, and some communities up there. So when they went there, the Mampusi warriors still pursued them to that enclave, and the Bises ran back to Tenkurugu or Tenkurugu in Burkina Faso. You know, Tenkurugu is the center of the Bises. So they moved southwards to inhabit the Tongo area. But when they were fought by the Mampurugu warriors, they moved upwards and went back to Tenkurugu. They retreated back and left the area. And some of the Nankana people too, some of them succumbed to the rule of the Mampusi, and some also fled. So that was how the Mampurugu warriors defeated the inhabitants of that enclave and established the chiefdom of the Bongo traditional area. And this particular prince, who was the son of Atalia, is known, his name was Isa. And if we say his name was Isa, let it not be strange to people, and they'll start questioning, why was he having a Muslim name? Because Isa is a Muslim name. So why we are tracing history back to the late part of the 16th century, around 1630 coming to 1680 thereabout. And there was an Isa, or there was someone called Isa. Some people it's normal for some people to ask why the Muslim name. Yes, that was the era Islam got to Mampurugu Kingdom and spread, and even spread to Gabon. That was the era of Nazanjina. Nazanjina in himself was even an Islamic cleric. He went to Kano in Nigeria and studied Islam before he came and was enskined the Yana. And that is why in Mampuli and in Dabani, and Nazanjina name was Muhammad or Muhammad. That was the name. It's Muhammad, then we turn it to Muhammad in Mampuli or in Dabani. And that is why every Mahama in Mampuli has a nickname we call Mankana, Zanjina Mankana. The Mankana is Maikanu because he went to Kano. So it was attached to his name, Mahama Maikanu. So that's why the Mankana comes in. So when we say Islam came to Mamprugu around that era, so almost all the sons of Na'Atabia had Muslim names. Ali was the son of Na'Atabia and he founded Boko. His brother Ali Bla was also the son of Na'Atabia. Yakubu was the son of Na'Atabia. And they are the first three chiefs of the Boko traditional area, all Muslim names. We have Brema, who was the chief of Nagbo before he went and became paramount chief of the Seoul traditional area. And he was called Nagoram Brema. It is a Muslim name. He was the son of Na'Atabia. Suleimana, who became the Nayiri with the skin name Na'Mpisene, was the son of Na'Atabia. So if we say Isa was the son of Na'Atabia and founded the Bongo traditional area, let it not be strange to people because Islam came to Mamprugu and Dagbo around that area and flourished. So this prince, he came and he founded this chiefdom and founded the Bongo people. So now the Busansis or the Bises, they retreated back to Tenkurugu, but the Nankana, they were conquered and they succumbed to the rule of the Mamprusi prince Isa with the name Na Awobugu, or some would say Achakulaga. And the Achakulaga or Asakulaga was as a result of he went as he was passing, he got to a place and he requested for water. And there were some people there at the well, and a grown-up and a younger one. But the younger one, the grown-up was rude, and the younger one was rather hospitable and more respectful. So there's a relation there which maybe we'll be visiting some other time. And that is where the Achakulaga, meaning Ochankulaga or Asakulaga. So you'll be hearing Achakulaga. That is where it also came from. And Awobugu, that is Wobugu in Mampuli. So when he founded this place and settled, you know, Bongo is a rocky area. So there was an area, a place that they saw this royal python, and it was there. And you know, the python, as we said yesterday, is a peaceful reptile. It doesn't harm unless, of course, it's highly provoked. So when they saw this python, they didn't do anything to it. The python didn't also harm them. So when they went back to Nalerugu, they told the Nayir that, Na'Atabia that they saw a python at that place. Then he said, yes, since we found a python there, the python is a peaceful snake. That means that that particular traditional area is going to be a peaceful place. So therefore, you name it after the python. So they gave it the name Bohagu. In Mampruli, the name of the python is Bohagu, as we have it today as the name of the paramount of the king as Na Bohagu. So the place was named as Bohagu. So last time the Nankani people, they couldn't pronounce the Bohagu. So they were calling it Bohani or Bohani. Instead of the Bohagu, they were pronouncing it as Bohani. That's the Nankana people. But our people were calling it Bohagu. So when the white man came, when the colonial masters came and they were documenting the names, they gave the name to them as Bohagu. But you know, and because they didn't understand the language, it was captured as Bongo. And that is why we now have it Bongo today. The original name is Bohagu or Bohani, but we have it as Bongo. So now we have two clans or two groups of people.
Yeah, Prof, you pause there. Pause there and let me just make a recap so that we get the picture clearer.
Okay.
Let me start from the name. So you ended at Bongo, how the name Bongo came about. And
Yes.
it came from, it's a corrupted Mampruli word, Bohago,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh. And it's because of this the python that was seen there. So
Yes.
now we've established how come the Bongo traditional area or the name Bongo uh, has been, I mean, how come the name Bongo? You also talk about, I'm always interested on this indigenous people.
Yes.
So if I got you clear, is it that
Yes.
is it the Nankanese?
Yes. The Nankana people. Yes.
The Nankana people, are you saying that they are the indigenous or were the indigenous people of that area?
They weren't also indigenous to say. They also came infiltrated or they descended to that area from Burkina. So
Okay.
from from a community the Yuya that they call it Yuya, or I don't know whether that's the same Yuaga that these people are coming from, but it also has something to do with Yuya or something like that.
Yeah.
So they also came from Burkina, and you know there was also some kind of, sometimes when you see these people, you have, if people don't migrate for fun, they say when you see a toad in the daytime, it's either it is after something or something is after it. Up there, our grandsons, the Moses, they were having a tough time over there. So the Mosi were displacing the minority tribes up there. So that is why most of them were infiltrating the southern part of Burkina Faso or the northern part of Ghana. So it was out of pressure that they were also displacing there. It isn't that it was for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you flow with the story. I know we've stopped at Bongo, so the Nankanas were not the what is it? The indigenous people. There were other people there before the Nankanas came, and then
Yeah,
before the Mamprusis came there.
yeah, the Nankana and the Bisons were there, yes.
Okay, okay, all right. So you can continue from Bongo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the Nankana, the Bisons, as I said, they retreated back to Tonkurugu, but the Nankana stayed. And that brought about two factions of people, and they were living hand in hand. There weren't any friction between them. You know, the prince of Mampugu or the royalty had overpowered them, so they were conquered, and they were now living peacefully with the Mampuses. So they were speaking their native language, the Nankana or the Nankane, and that is what is termed as the Gurunsi. So they were speaking that language. However, the Mampusi prince and his people, they were also speaking their Mampuli. But because they have moved away from Naleru far to that area, definitely, because of intermarriages, the tongue will definitely change a bit. So their tongue changed from the original tongue at Naleru or at Gambaga. So they were now speaking the language that they term as Bosis or yeah. So then they now speak the language they term as Bosi or Bohani. So that is the language they term themselves. Whilst the Nankana people speak their native language that is termed as the Gurinsi. So now they are identified as Gurinsi, and this the royal clan or the royal people of Bongo, they identify themselves as Bosis. So that is the two clans and the two group of people we have there.
So the two clans, I lost track. The two clans, one clan from the Mamprusi prince, right?
Yes.
And then the other clan from sorry, is it Nankanas?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. And the Nankanas were speaking their dialect. The Mamprusis also came there, were also speaking their dialect. But in marriages, consumed the Mampruli dialect.
Yeah.
And gave birth to a mixture of cancer and forgive me, this tribe, Nankanas. The Nankanas language and the Mampruli now became a blended language and then produced, let me say, a third one.
Yeah. And what is the Bosi?
Okay. And this was somewhere in the 1600s.
Yes, this is, yeah.
Now, do the people of Bongo see themselves, let me ask this funny question, see themselves as part and parcel of Mamprusis?
Yes. They see themselves as part and parcel of Mamprusis. They see themselves as Mamprusis. They don't see themselves as any other tribe because that is truly who they are. Their founder was the son of Na Atabia. So which other tribe can they be if not Mamprusi? So they see themselves as Mamprusi and they recognize themselves as such. And they form the royals, as I said. So if that is why, you know, as a royal, as I said earlier, a prince will move to an area and establish a chiefdom for his generation. So that was exactly what happened. So now his generation are now those that ascend to the skins of the Bonaba. And that is the title of the paramount chief of the Bongo traditional area, Bonaba. So the Bonaba, as we have him today, is a direct descendant of Na Atabia, just like Boku is a direct descendant of Na Atabia. So Boku and Bongo are sons of the same father. So we are all Mampusi. And not quite long, I think just like in the past few weeks, I personally, I was there. We went there to greet our father. And it was very lovely. And all these things were said, and they don't see themselves as any other people. In fact, if they see you, they are very excited to see their brother. And as I said yesterday, or well, the day before yesterday, when they see you, they call you Magia. So that is always how we call each other. Me, for instance, if I see someone from there, I don't have any name for him than Magia. That's how we call each other, and we always, it's always kind of peaceful and lovely to be with them. So that is how it is. And the paramount chiefs in the Upper East region, the sons of the Nairi, the other day you made me mention, I mentioned them. The Bonaba, Mba Bonaba is the eldest among the sons of the Nairi in the Upper East region. So in the Upper East region, he is the eldest among the sons of the Nairi.
Why?
And yeah, you know, it always has some historical antecedents. Because every traditional area, the eldest is always determined by who settled first or what happened. Things always happened, and you always have the way that they arrive at this one being the eldest and this one follows. So just like we were saying the other day about Mba Wunaba being the eldest son of the Nairi. So that is how the arrangements is done. Probably we cannot be disclosing everything about why they are eldest.
Yes. So but let me just make this clarity. So the last time we talked about Talansi, and a Mampusi prince went there and established chiefdom. Today we're talking about Bongo. A Mampusi prince also went there and established chiefdom. But you see that all the chiefs in the Upper East, is it Upper East region, including Boku?
Yes, including Boku.
So including Boku, the Bongo chief is the elder.
Okay, I think well, let's exclude Boku, because I must say that it was because but because we don't have Boku Naba as a, then he gave us, you know, now we have the Bonaba, Sakuti Naba, Nango Naba, Tongrana, Zwarumu Naba, and Bolga Naba. So these 6 are those that are there for now. For Boku, we still have a regent, a Bangrana. So when we take these 6, he is the eldest. So for Boku, well, maybe let's leave it for now and still make more inquiries in order not to have
No.
maybe.
Yeah, that is why I wanted the clarity, because when you talk of Upper East region, of course, Boku is included. But maybe when you are emphatic and you say that, for example, the paramountcies within, let me say, the collective word that we've become to be calling them the Farfares, the paramountcies within the Farfares jurisdiction. Let me put it that way. Probably that one can we confidently say that the Bona is the elder?
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe that is how we can put it for now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So go ahead.
Yeah, and his paramountcy is one of the largest in the Upper East region. In fact, remember, it's covering a whole district on its own, and it has 47 divisional and subdivisional chiefs under him. Have 47 chiefs under the Bongo paramountcy, with about 23 divisional chiefs, and with the remaining others being subdivisional chiefs. So he is one of the paramountcies in the Mampuku kingdom, with many chiefs, or with a vast majority of chiefs under him, and his jurisdiction extends to the boundaries of Burkina Faso. So from Bongo up to Burkina, remember the Bisets were chased up to they got to Burkina and crossed to Tenkuru. So that particular enclave all is under the jurisdiction of Mbabo Naba.
Oh, so it is in Burkina Faso, but under his jurisdiction.
No, I'm saying that his jurisdiction shares like that is the border between Ghana and Burkina.
Oh, okay.
So his jurisdiction shares a border, but well, I'm not. I haven't researched much into it, but I'm sure he might have some of his lands in Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prof, the photo on the screen, was that the enskinment of the Bonaba?
This was the day of Dama. This is Dama Festival Day at the forecourt of the king of Mampugu, Tedugman Nayiri. So this was 2015 Dama, the very year our father Bolganaba was enskinned. So seated in this picture, as you've seen the elders seated in a line, it is according to rank. So you see, the first person is Mbabongnaba, followed by Mbabolganaba. The other paramountcies, some of them were not there, like Tongo, Zwarumu, Sakuti, Nangode, they weren't there. So it was Bolganaba and Bonaba that were there. So that's why Bolganaba is seated next to Bonaba. If the others were there, definitely this wouldn't have been his position. But because the other brothers were not there, he is next to Bonaba. So that was why he was seated next to him. And those you see them following are now divisional chiefs and the like. Yeah.
All right. So quick question.
This is how chiefs greet the paramount chiefs and the divisional chiefs. This is how they greet the Nigerian on Damba Festival Day. So I made mention the other day that the other time that there is some kind of drumming that the princes don't listen to. So when the Nair is coming out and they are drumming that drumming, then they will have to go to somewhere, a distant place, and hang themselves there. until their father walks majestically and gets seated. And after the Nayib is now seated on stage on the day of Dama, these chiefs will now come and line up according to ranks, and they will now greet their father before they will now get up and go and sit in the pavilion or the linga.
Oh, Prof, you making it sweet for me. I think I have to find time to experience Damba in Lirugo.
Yeah, very interesting. Yes.
Okay, now let's talk about the culture of the Bongo people. The Bongo people are Mampusis, and the Mampusi people are Bongo people.
Exactly.
But the Bongo people don't speak Mampuli. We understand why they don't speak Mampuli, but they are Mampusis.
Yes.
How about the culture?
So the culture is also similar to that of Mampusi. Like when we come to festivals, for instance, the major festival of the people of Bongo is the Bugum Festival. That's the fire festival. And it is always kind of, that is, in fact, that's the time that all the sons and daughters of the Bongo traditional area will gather and celebrate. And I said that at the time they were to conquer that area, it coincided with the fire festival day, and they lit the torches and chased the people away. So that day is always commemorated, and all sons and daughters will come and they will gather and celebrate the fire festival. And we all know that the fire festival is celebrated throughout the Mampugo kingdom. So that is the festival of the people of the Bongo traditional area. Aside that, they also have the Tandana, the Tandana people who are also in charge of the spiritual fortification of the land. And we have the chiefs. So the Tandana is with the gods. He sees to the spiritual aspect of the land, and the chiefs administer over the people, including the Tandana and everything. And the paramount chief is enskined by the king of the Mampugo kingdom. So whenever a Bungaba pass on, yes. So I think in our view now is a typical Tandana. So when we say Tandana, this is how they dress, and their duty is only with the gods. This particular god needs the sacrifice, and the chief will provide, and they will do their sacrifice. This particular god needs this sacrifice, or someone is to build a new house. It's the duty of the Tandana to come and pour libation before the house is built. And even in the mainland, if we can put it that way, the mainland of Mampuse, like my community, for instance, we have Tandanas. When you are to build a house and you request for land, maybe if it is a planned land or a family land, and you request for it and you are given, you will still have to go and formally inform the chief. And the chief will select elders and they will come and inspect the land. So the chief is in charge of land. But when you are to build, then the Tandana will come and pour libation. And mostly they will sacrifice a fowl before the house, before the building of the house. So that is how the Tandana and the chief works. It is not the Tandana that gives out land. His duty is to come and appease the gods before the house is built, so that when the house is built, definitely they will pray that the ancestor will guide the house, will live peacefully, there wouldn't be any fighting or whatever diseases. So that is the duties of the Tandana. You pray against all evil acts that will befall the house, and pour libation and sacrifice a fowl before you build the house. But the land ownership is for the people and not the Tandana.
All right.
So that's how it is.
Okay, you've made that clear. Prof, I'm going to read two messages. One one from Banmanja. He said, I'm here with a Farfara guy who is from Bongo and like history, and a historian too, who is confirming what Badi Gamsira, our professor, is telling us. I just want you to know that what you are saying is undisputable.
Tell him that we are proud of him. In fact, I made a post on Facebook after my visit to the palace of Mbabonaba. I took a picture with our father and made the post on Facebook. And one of our brothers contacted me and said that, in fact, what I've said, that is really the case, and that he is from one of the royal families of Bongo. And we had a chat. So our people are very lovely people. They laugh at us. So, and we also have to laugh them back. And it's, as I say, I always say, over the years, we've created some artificial boundaries among ourselves, and it is high time we bridge the gaps and come together and let people know who we truly are. It's because we are not doing this, that is why some people think we are different people. And let me give you another interesting thing about the enskinment of the paramount chief of Bongo traditional area.
Yeah, before you do that, let me read this comment again. It's also important. One Dawuda Baba Yakub said, the chief of Bongo has some of his subjects in Burkina Faso, around the areas of Fio, Yelwungu, and Mirugu.
So you see what I was saying. Yes. I didn't want to say, because I haven't really dig deep into that one, but it has just been confirmed now. But I knew I need to share boundary over there. Definitely, some of the lands might have entered Burkina. So yes. We thank our brother for that clarification.
All right, so you go ahead, and I have a last message that I want to read to you. I mean, viewers will be so proud to hear what I'm going to read to you from somebody. But okay. you wanted to make a point.
Yes. So I was saying that when the Bonaba passes on, then just like we did for the enskinment of a new chief, the Nair elders will go to Bongo and enskin a regent, and the regent will take care of the community of the traditional area for about a year, and the final funeral rites is performed, and they will now take the Panyoku of the deceased chief and foot. They go by foot to Naleru for the enskinment. They still follow the typical tradition. They don't go by, they will not use car, they will foot from Bongo to Naleru, because our forefather, our founder, footed from Naleru to Bongo. So they always follow that tradition.
Prof, hold on. I can't believe what I'm hearing, with all due respect. So they'll walk from Bongo to Naleru to the enskinment process.
Yes.
Wow.
They walk from Bongo to Naleru for enskinment process.
I mean, we need to appreciate the people of Bongo. We need to give them the respect, the love that they deserve.
And we have for the Tandanes, we have two major clans of the Tandanes in Bongo, and that is the Azor BC and the what we call the Buga Kuzem BC. The Abor BC and the Azor BC and the Bongo Kuzem BC. So the Azor BC are those that perform most of the traditional or the tendanship work, and the other clan, they also have a particular chieftaincy they take, and that is the Bungnaba. So the Bungnaba is also enskinned, is part of the Tendama and the Azor BC. So the Azor BC, when a Bungnaba is enskinned from Naleru and he's coming back to Bongo, they have a particular point that he will stop there. It is the Tendana there, the Azor BC, the Tendana of the Azor BC that will receive him. There's a chieftaincy stone. Remember, we have a chieftaincy stone for Okutu. So there's a chieftaincy stone. He will sit, and there are some rites that they will perform before he will move, before he will get to Bongo. So that is how it is done. So he initiates, or when the chief is enskin at Nalerugu and get to Bongo, he is the one that will that will do the final ascension to the skins before the person can now go to Bongo and be known as the Bonaba. And interestingly, it is also the Bonaba that enskins that Tandana. Oh, sorry. So when that Tandana also passed on, it is the Bonaba that enskins that Tandana. So as I said earlier, Tandana and Naba, they go hand in hand. They don't have any problem. Yeah, so that is the beauty of the tradition over there.
Yeah, even in the Boku traditional area, I know you will do justice to that when we come there, but let me quickly say that even in the Boku traditional area, it is the Boku Naba and the Mamprusi system. Is this the Boku Naba who enskins a Tendana?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is also the practice.
Yes.
You know, you made a point. You talked about how the people of Bongo receive their brothers, the Mamprusis, how they love and appreciate us, and the artificial barrier that we've allowed to portray us as not one people. You know, that is the essence of this program, and that is also the essence of your activism, the Mamprugu Kaya Nititada, right? Did I get it right?
Kaya Nititada.
Kaya Nitada, Mamprugu Kaya Nitada.
Yes.
So I just need to emphasize on this one before we continue. You know, people will now begin to appreciate. I mean, when I say people, let me say the Mamprusis, right? And all other well-meaning tribes within the Mamprugu kingdom. We're not talking about the lost souls, people who don't have history. No, this is the point I'm trying to make. The history that we are recounting, we are retelling, because this is not new, but we are retelling it.
Yes.
When you listen to it, to be very honest with you, I never knew that this is how deep the bond between the Mamprusis and the people of Bongo is. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So now that I know this, when I see my brother and my sister from Bongo traditional area anywhere, I feel comfortable that yes, I'm at home. I'm with a brother. I'm with a sister, and that is what yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So there's a picture. I don't know if it's available for our viewers. My visit to the Bonaba.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, I got it late, so I couldn't put it into the system.
Wow. Yeah. So his elders. In fact, where I was seated, so to my immediate right was the Amba Ankarma, the Ankarma of Tongo, of a Bongo traditional area. We had the Asuma, the Jisenaba, his council of elders. It was very beautiful. And we have this important elder in that palace, the Jisenaba. In fact, when my father told us about the functions, then you will appreciate the beauty of the tradition. He is kind of, and he told us that, and when I wanted to take the picture, I asked him that, Baba, can you come and sit closer? And the Bonaba told me that he cannot sit on this platform because he is in Abia. Remember the other day I told you you can't sit on the platform. So yeah, that's our father on display.
Yes. Yeah, but let me just explain this to our viewers. This is not the photo you're talking about. The photo you're talking about, haven't been able to put it into the system. But in our next program, we'll talk about it. But this is our father, Bonaba, sitting on his skin.
Yes, and you can see the royal pillows with him. In fact, actually, my friend, when I got there, I was very proud. To be frank with you, I was very proud, and I was very happy. I left Bongo as a happy person because I saw, in fact, how I've been to the Nairi and I see the king. Yes, that's our father on display, Mbabu Naba. In fact, a very lovely and caring father. In fact, he was just a carbon copy of the overlord when I saw him seated. And do you also know that he sits on full skin?
Tell me more about that.
A skin with a tail. When they skin the animal, when they kill the animal, they don't cut off the tail. Yes, so very good. This particular picture, let me tell you something about this. You can see him seated and he wears that thing that the Nairi always puts on.
Yes.
So in the traditional area, he is the overlord. So he is just a carbon copy or a replica of the overlord in the Bongo traditional area. In the absence of his father, he is the overlord. But how we see him dressed here, when he is going to Naleru, he cannot put this thing on because he's going to his father.
Okay.
So he only wears this in the absence of his father. The Boku Naba wears this in the absence of his father. The So Naba wears this in the absence of his father. The Wubu Naba wears this in the absence of his father. The Tongrana wears this in the absence of his father. The Wunaba wears this. The Yorana wears it. All the paramount chiefs wears this. We call it Achaba. That is Achaba. So that is what it means. So these paramount chiefs, what it means is that they have ascended to the highest skins that they can ascend. So from Bongo, you don't move to anywhere. Just like when you are the chief of Boku, you don't move anywhere again. When you are the chief of Wurugu, Wumu, or so, you have reached your apex. But when you are the chief of Gimsi, you don't wear this. So that is where the difference comes in.
Okay.
So he wears this. He sits on a full skin, a skin that they don't cut the tail. So when they kill the animal, they just remove the skin with the tail. They don't cut it off. So he sits on it like that. His hall, that is his zone, has 3 entrances. They all have meanings. The hall of the Nairi also has 3 entrances. The hall of the Bonaba has 3 entrances. The Nairi wears Achaba. The Bonaba wears Achaba. The Nairi sits on a full skin. The Bonaba sits on a full skin. But as you've seen him seated, let's say in those days that they used to be Tankari, where the overlord will go around his kingdom and visit his sons. So when the Nairi gets to Bongo, Bonaba will get down and the Nairi will sit at where he is seated. And by then, he cannot wear what he's wearing. So that is how it is. Where he only does that when his father is not there.
Prof, I cannot wait to see the 15th Boku Naba. You're making me miss a lot of things.
Yes,
I cannot wait to see how some of us never had the opportunity to experience it, right?
So when you go to the palace of Yunyorana, the zone has 3 entrances. The palace of Mbawonaba, the hall has 3 entrances. The hall of Mba Sonaba, it has 3 entrances. The hall of Bonaba has 3. Boku has 3. All the paramounts have 3. Tongo has 3. So all these people are sons of the Nairi. So when we say Bongo traditional area is part of the Mampugu kingdom, let not people think that Mampusi want to lord over the people of Bongo. Mampusi want to claim superior over the people of Bongo. That is why they are saying it is part of Mampugu. No, that is not the case. The people of Bongo are Mampusi. And
sorry for interrupting. I wanted to ask this question. You talking about lording, superior, and other things. So yes. Let me reverse and deliberately. The Mampusi prince left Naliru and went to settle there. There were other people. There were other people there. the Bises, the Nakane, oh, please, one more time. Then isn't what is it? Nankana. So the Mamprusi Prince when they established chieftaincy, chiefdom there.
Yes.
They intermarried. The language got better. Now they don't speak the Mampruli, neither do the Nankanes and then the Bisa speak Bisa or whatever. So there's a new language and called the Gur language, right?
Yeah. Eh?
Is it
yeah. That's the Mabia language.
Mabia language, yes, Mabia language. So this is my question. Did the Mamprusi Prince go there to colonize the Nankanes and the Bises?
Yes, he went there with conquering. He went there and conquered that enclave. So those that couldn't withstood him, they flee. That is why in Mampu we have Tarma and Nabise. What is the meaning of Tarma? You know, when during the time of the conquering by war, when the conqueror is coming, he's coming with two options. It's either you accept over his rule or he kills you. So if you succumb to his rule, you become friends. Then you are now termed as Tarma, Manyala Tarma. Ibubo you have to under. So you have made yourself humble before him. And Mamprusi, the moment you make that one, you will even become his close ally than any other person. He will see you as a brother. So that was how so those that couldn't withstood him, they flee. And that is why the Bises retreated back to Tonkuru. But the people that remained in the present day Bongo traditional area with 47 divisional chiefs, all this land or this enclave, they succumbed to the rule of the Bonaba as we have it. So they are now one people. And if you go there, it will be now difficult for you to identify who is who. They have all become one people. Because this is something that happened over 400 years ago. So intermarriages, and they have now become one. So the only difference now is that these royals, they are in their chieftaincy. So they only become chiefs of the communities. The others, they are living. And there are even some communities that some of the people that they met there will become chiefs. You enskin them as chiefs. They also become one people. You cannot differentiate among them who was who before who was who. You cannot differentiate. So they are all turned to one people. So it isn't that there's some kind of friction or whatever. No. They are living peacefully, and the land is they are all one people.
And they love their brothers, the Mamprusis.
Yes, and now the royal clan, they always identify themselves as Mamprusi. We are Mamprusi. Our forefather was a Mamprusi. He was the son of Naatia, and he came and founded us. So our forefather is a Mamprusi. And what our father told me one interesting thing, that sometimes when they always say maybe some people will break away, that he, for instance, where is he running to? That you own a house and you are living that house for who again? So Mampuru is for him. That he owns the house. So he cannot leave the house for anybody. So for some people to think that, oh, he will say he will not be part. No, he cannot run, he is a Mampuru. So he told us that he owns the house. And when you own a house, you don't run away from it.
Yes. And then so the Bongo people, they have a clan. They have they have a clan. So which means they have kinship and descent. They have a founder. They know their founder. They have a language. They have a history. They know their history. Prof, we'll be wrapping up in 3 minutes. What else do you want to share with us before we end this program?
Yeah, so, well, the only thing I will always say at the end of every program is that the essence of this is for us to know our heritage, to know our history for peace and development. Let's know who we are. Let's know that we are one people. What unites us is more than what divides us. The talents we establish, the Amamposis, the Bonsi, the Bongo people we have established today, the Amamposi. Subsequently, we will be bringing out all the descendants of Mamprugu origin and our brothers, the Dagombes. Our brothers, the Dagombes. You know, when you are in an extended family, for instance, you are not in the country, you are the son of our father, teacher Iji. You have brothers, they are at Boku, their children and your children. If you don't tell your children that these are your siblings, will they know?
No.
They wouldn't know. And it is also on us. So when you tell them that these are your siblings, it is now left on, it is also on them to accept each other. The other day when I made the post about the Bongo, when I post my picture and the Bongo, a brother made a comment, I got sad. This was what he said. That Mamprusi will always say you people are Gurinsi. That you see, you are now telling us that the people of Bongo are Mamprusi. That means that you people are Gurinsi. I just replied to, I said, my brother. And he said, Dagomba. I said, my brother, what you have said, if you call me a Gurinsi, I am a proud Gurinsi. Because the Bongo people are our people. You moved and came and settled here. You weren't there. You didn't know how the Mampuru kingdom moved on. As you came here, Tamale, Yendi, Savulugu, and you were expanding. Same way we were also there and we were expanding. If we don't tell you that these people are also from our house, you will not know. So when we bring out these things, let's put our parochial interests aside and accept each other. Yes. But if I put a picture out and put a story, I went to Bongo. The Bongo people are descendants of Na Atabia. They are Mamprusi, and the only thing you can come and tell her is that you are Gurunsi. I will say I'm a proud Gurunsi. But if you can call the Bonara a Gurunga, then if you call me a Gurunga, I will be proud of it.
Yes. Okay. You know, let me read this last message. I mean, sometimes some of these things, and then you use that to make your closer remark. Said, just a quick one. I have seen one of the leading figures of the Kusasi in Boku saying that even the Mamprusis that moved to Bolga and Bongo areas switched to Farfara, but the Mamprusis in Boku refused to switch to Kusasi. That is why the problem in Boku will not finish. You want to say anything about it?
It doesn't just make any sense. Okay. When you listen to the I think one of these days we will have to play the video of our father, Mba Tongrana.
Okay.
He will give the account and say that we came from Bampu, we are Bampu. So if you ask, what are you saying?
Exactly.
If you listen to the Tongrana, he will say that they are Bampu. So what are you saying?
It's sort of you Kusasi switching to Mamprusis. If you had done that, you came from Burkina Faso. You came from Burkina Faso to meet the Mamprusis there, and you don't want to switch to Mamprusis to become Mamprusis. Anyway, I blame Kwame Nkrumah. All right, Prof. One more chance. Anything again to say? Or are you done?
So what I'll just say is, there is a saying that before you wash your feet, you have to wash your hands. So we are looking at a bigger picture of all the Wa descendants coming together. But before we can do that, all those of Mampuru origin, let's bring them in first. If we are able to do this, then we can extend it to the entire Wa fraternity. And that includes our brothers, the Dagombes, the Nanumbes, and the Mosi. A lot of people broke away from Mampuru and went and founded kingdoms. And we'll be tackling them one after the other. Wana is one of them. Bulsa is one of them. So we will be digging deep into all this and let people know they have founders. We know their names. They themselves has, accepted to it. It isn't something new. So well, it's going to be interesting in the days ahead.
Yes, we really have a lot. You know, you say, yeah, let's Mamprugu, let's conscientize ourselves, put our acts together, then we extend to our brothers in Dabong, in Nanum, and in Mamprugu, we have started with Upper East region.
Yes.
We deal with the paramountcies in the Upper East region, to close that chapter, then we go to other paramountcies within the Mamprugu. And so we have a lot. May God give us long life, good health, wisdom, peace of mind, and knowledge for us to continue to do what we're doing. Let me read this. I'm going to end today's program with this message. You know, yesterday we talked about Nazangina, right?
Yes.
One of our brothers, our elder brother, I will not mention his name, but when I start telling you the story, you will know. And I know he's listening, but I'm not going to mention. So yesterday, after the program, he sent me a WhatsApp message, and I'm reading it here. Let me quote. He said, "I will call Buddy Gamsida to draw his attention to the actual proverbial expression that na zangina yini, and that gave na zangina yini. It was missing in the proverbs he gave." Do you have a clue?
Yes, I have a clue.
Okay. So I'm not gonna mention. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention the name. So that was the message he sent me, right?
Yes.
And I love him and I respect him so much. And
yes.
I know you, Buddy Gamsida, you don't also know everything. So when he said so, I just prayed. I sent him a prayer sign, and I didn't say anything. And then he came back today, and this is what he said. He said, "Good morning, bro. I talked with Buddy Gamsida, and I bet you, though the guy is young in age, but when it comes to history and tradition, he is expertly matured and colossal."
Oh my God. I'm humble, bro.
Let me repeat. Let me start all over. Good morning, bro. Now let me start all over. So this is the story. He sent me a message saying that I will call Buddy Gamsida to draw his attention to the actual proverbial expression that gave Nazangina Yene. It was missing in the proverbs he gave. Now, then the next day he came back. Said, "Good morning, bro. I talked to Buddy Gamsida, and I bet you, though the guy is young in age, but when it comes to history and tradition, he is expertly matured and colossal. He is an asset and needs to be encouraged and protected." Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day, bro. And this was my message. I said, my reply. I said, no doubt about that. He is a blessing to Mamprugu.
Oh my God. Bro, thank you very much.
Yes, on this note. Yes. Thank you so much. There's one guy that I also have so much respect for. Let me just read his comment. Professor Program. He said, "Nabdam Royals, Bursa Royals, and Wala Royals are all Mamprusis by origin." Anyway, we'll go into the details. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is yours truly, Dubia Mbawuni Bakutuma na Atabia II. We thank you so much. Hopefully, we will connect with you. You know what, Prof? Am I going to have you?
Well, you are going to put me in a tight corner on air.
Okay. No, we'll talk behind the scene. Okay,
I'll prefer that.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We exceeded our 1 hour mark. We appreciate your time. We love you. And please keep supporting this program. God bless you all. Good night and peace.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Bye.